Titanic. The RMS Titanic was the largest passenger ship in the world when it left England in 1912. People called it unsinkable, which made the disaster even more shocking when the ship struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic. Water rushed into several compartments, and within a few hours the ship sank into the freezing ocean. Many passengers could not escape because there were not enough lifeboats for everyone on board. The tragedy exposed major safety problems in sea travel, and afterward, international rules for lifeboats and emergency procedures changed permanently.
Pompeii. Pompeii was a Roman city near Mount Vesuvius in Italy. In the year 79 AD, the volcano erupted with enormous force and buried the city under ash and volcanic rock. Many people were trapped before they could flee. Buildings, streets, and even everyday objects were frozen in place beneath the ash for centuries. Because of that, Pompeii later became one of the most important archaeological sites in the world, offering a rare look into ordinary Roman life.
The Black Death. The Black Death was one of the deadliest disease outbreaks in human history. It spread across Europe, Asia, and parts of Africa during the 1300s. The illness was caused by plague bacteria, often carried by fleas living on rats that traveled through trade routes. Entire towns were devastated within weeks. Fear spread almost as quickly as the disease itself, changing how people lived, worked, and viewed religion. Historians believe tens of millions of people died during the pandemic.
The Hindenburg Disaster. The Hindenburg was a massive German airship used for passenger travel in the 1930s. It was designed as a luxurious way to cross the Atlantic Ocean. In 1937, while attempting to land in New Jersey, the airship suddenly caught fire and was destroyed within seconds. The event was captured on camera and heard on live radio broadcasts, making it one of the first disasters witnessed by millions through modern media. After the crash, public trust in passenger airships disappeared almost overnight.
Chernobyl. Chernobyl was a nuclear disaster that took place in 1986 in what is now Ukraine. During a late-night safety test at the nuclear power plant, a reactor exploded and released dangerous radiation into the atmosphere. Firefighters and workers rushed in without fully understanding the level of exposure they faced. Nearby towns were evacuated, but many people had already been affected. Large areas remained contaminated for years, and the disaster became a global warning about the risks of nuclear energy when safety systems fail. The Great Fire of London. The Great Fire of London began in a bakery in 1666 and quickly spread through the city. Most buildings were made of wood, and strong winds pushed the flames from street to street. Thousands of homes and important structures were destroyed over several days. Although many people escaped, the fire changed London forever. Afterward, the city was rebuilt with stricter construction rules, including the use of brick and stone instead of wood. The Challenger disaster. The Space Shuttle Challenger exploded shortly after launch in 1986. Millions of people were watching because one of the crew members was a school teacher chosen to inspire students across America. Only seconds into the flight, a mechanical failure caused the shuttle to break apart in the sky. The tragedy shocked the public and forced NASA to pause shuttle missions while investigators studied what went wrong. It also raised serious questions about pressure, deadlines, and decision-making inside major organizations. The Fukushima disaster. The Fukushima nuclear disaster happened in Japan in 2011 after a massive earthquake triggered a powerful tsunami. The waves overwhelmed the nuclear plant's defenses and disabled critical cooling systems. Without cooling, reactors overheated and released radioactive material. Thousands of residents had to leave nearby areas, many without knowing when they could return. The disaster renewed global debates about nuclear energy and the dangers of building plants in areas vulnerable to natural disasters. The Great Chicago Fire. The Great Chicago Fire swept through the American city in 1871. Dry weather, wooden buildings, and strong winds allowed the flames to spread rapidly. Entire neighborhoods disappeared in smoke and ash. Many families lost their homes and businesses within a single night.
Even though the city was devastated, Chicago rebuilt itself quickly and eventually became one of the largest and most influential cities in the United States. The Deepwater Horizon disaster. Deepwater Horizon was an offshore oil drilling rig operating in the Gulf of Mexico. In 2010, an explosion on the platform killed workers and caused one of the largest oil spills in history. Oil poured into the ocean for months, damaging marine life, beaches, and fishing industries across the region. Investigations later revealed multiple safety failures and poor risk management. The disaster became a symbol of the environmental dangers linked to large-scale oil drilling. The San Francisco earthquake. In 1906, a powerful earthquake struck San Francisco, California. Buildings collapsed immediately, but the destruction became even worse when fires broke out across the city. Broken water lines made it difficult to stop the flames, and entire districts burned for days. Thousands of families lost their homes and businesses within a single night. Even though the city was devastated, Chicago rebuilt itself quickly and eventually became one of the largest and most influential cities in the United States. The Bhopal disaster. The Bhopal disaster occurred in India in 1984 when toxic gas leaked from a pesticide plant during the night. Nearby residents were asleep when the gas spread through the city. Thousands died within days, and many more suffered long-term health problems. Families were affected for generations afterward. The tragedy remains one of the worst industrial disasters ever recorded and exposed the dangers of poor safety standards in chemical factories. Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina struck the United States in 2005 and caused catastrophic flooding, especially in New Orleans. Levees meant to protect the city failed, allowing water to pour into neighborhoods. Many residents became trapped without food, clean water, or medical care for days. The disaster revealed deep problems in emergency response systems and showed how vulnerable cities can become when infrastructure fails during extreme weather. The Columbia disaster. The Space Shuttle Columbia disaster happened in 2003 during the shuttle's return to Earth. Damage to the spacecraft's wing during launch allowed intense heat to enter while re-entering the atmosphere. The shuttle broke apart high above the ground, killing all 7 crew members. The accident forced another major review of NASA's safety culture and highlighted the risks astronauts face during space travel. The Lisbon earthquake. The Lisbon earthquake struck Portugal in 1555 and remains one of Europe's most devastating natural disasters. The earthquake itself destroyed much of the city, but the destruction continued with fires and a tsunami that followed soon after. Churches, homes, and government buildings collapsed within minutes. The disaster deeply influenced European thinking about science, religion, and disaster preparedness during that period. The Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl affected large parts of the United States during the 1930s. Years of drought, combined with poor farming methods, turned fertile land into massive clouds of dust. Strong winds carried soil across entire states, darkening skies and destroying crops. Many farming families lost everything and were forced to migrate in search of work and better living conditions. The event changed agricultural practices and highlighted the importance of protecting the environment.